Sooner or later, life is going to test you. Your health might falter, your bank account could empty out, or the people closest to you might suddenly become a source of deep frustration. These pressures are constant and entirely out of your control. We carry the weight of these external circumstances everywhere we go. Eckhart Tolle calls this your life situation, an invisible, heavy backpack stuffed with your personal history, your relationships, and your unresolved daily problems. The friction arises when we look at this backpack and decide it shouldn't be there. We treat everyday challenges as a glitch in the system, living with the quiet, stubborn assumption that things simply aren't supposed to go wrong. By framing normal obstacles as unfair interruptions, you lock yourself into a permanent state of unease. You end up merely enduring the present moment, holding your breath for a frictionless future that is never actually going to arrive. This waiting game is fueled by a very common misconception, the idea that how you experience your life is dictated entirely by what happens to you. If you believe your well-being depends on your external situation, you naturally adopt a defensive posture. You start complaining, fighting the reality before you, and casting yourself as a victim. This creates a psychological reflex the Buddha identified as a primary obstacle to awakening. It is a state of continuous wanting. Your mind compulsively rejects what is happening right now, demanding instead that reality match a mental projection of how things should be. If mapped on a timeline, you can see the flaw. Even when you get what you desire, the relief is fleeting. The mind's habit of rejecting the present is so ingrained that the satisfaction evaporates and the familiar unease quickly returns. The heavy burden you feel isn't actually the external obstacle itself. The true source of your exhaustion is your own mind's relentless, frantic effort to mentally escape the present moment. Let's look at how this plays out in a crisis. Imagine you are called into your boss's office after 35 years of faithful work, and you are suddenly let go. Or, out of nowhere, a long-term relationship completely falls apart. The unobserved mind instantly classifies the event as a catastrophic threat, long before the logical centers can even register the raw facts of the situation. What makes this reflex so dangerous is its tendency to reach backward. The mind hijacks the immediate situation by linking it to deeply buried emotional pain from your past, resulting in a massive, unwarranted overreaction. A simple annoyance bypasses your logical centers entirely. It strikes a hidden reservoir of old pain, igniting an explosive emotional response. Once trapped inside this looping circuit, your conscious agency disappears, locking you into an escalating cycle of panic. Without conscious awareness to interrupt the circuit, a single piece of bad news guarantees a predetermined cascade of emotional suffering. You become a mere passenger, dragged along by your own psychological reflexes. There is a way to break the circuit. It starts by stepping into the gap. The challenge still hits you. The bad news still arrives. But instead of automatically reacting, you simply pause. In that pause, you observe the emotion rising in your chest. You recognize that you are not the anger, the fear, or the anxiety. You are the silent, unconditioned consciousness watching those feelings arise. Traditional problem-solving tries to fix this by analyzing the history of your personality. It treats your ego like the Gordian knot of ancient myth, a massive, tangled mess of personal problems that you have to meticulously unpick, one thread at a time. The awakened state doesn't waste time trying to untangle the ego. It bypasses the knot entirely. It does this through a radical, complete acceptance of the current moment, exactly as it is. When you drop the compulsive need to judge the moment, you instantly sever the mind's connection to that reactive loop. You cut through the noise. True presence isn't an exercise in psychoanalyzing your past to repair a broken identity. It is the act of stepping outside your ego's narrative entirely, freeing up all your energy to deal with the raw, objective facts of what is happening right now. This shift in awareness does not create a magical shield against tragedy. The market can still crash, your savings can still dry up, and your physical body will inevitably face illness and decline. The difference lies internally. The external difficulty is still there, but the heavy, personalized burden of the self is gone. You no longer process the event as a targeted, unfair attack on you. Because you stop resisting the factual reality of the situation, the friction disappears. The actual duration and intensity of the emotional suffering you experience shrink dramatically. By dropping the narrative of victimhood, you stop deriving your identity from the drama of your life situation. Without that story to feed on, the ego loses its grip on your behavior. This brings us to a stark realization about human experience. The quality of your life is not defined by the unpredictable, uncontrollable events. Your life is defined entirely by the state of consciousness you bring to your response. A non-reactive response allows you to see the actual mechanics of a problem rather than just the emotional fallout. Because you aren't wasting energy fighting the existence of the obstacle, you can find the specific lever needed to move past it, often revealing a path that your panic had completely obscured. Choosing to live in the present moment instead of your mental narrative is how you reclaim your agency. It ensures that no matter what life throws at you, your response is a conscious choice rather than an automatic reflex.